Good evening, everybody. A little after 10 o'clock here. Another live broadcast to Real Steel Sports is in progress, headed by your magnificent, your one and only host, James Krishnerick. Tonight, my Pittsburgh Penguins improved to 10-5 in the season, and now have 20 points thanks to their 3-1 victory over the Winnipeg Jets. Rematch from earlier this year when Winnipeg beat the Penguins in Winnipeg. My opinion, this is one of the better games the Pens have played this season. I mean, yeah, it was close. The Jets, if they could have gotten that extra goal after getting the empty netter, they would have tied it and gone to overtime, and now it could have really potentially put the Penguins in a hole because the Jets were firing on all cylinders in terms of having the puck down in the Penguin zone. Fleury was facing shots all night long. I mean, every time you watched the game, it just seemed like he was always defending shots. And he had one of his best games he's had in the last few years. 25 saves on 26 shots, .962 percentage. He's 5-1 on the road this year. Very, very impressive. And he's won 5 of his last 6 games. I commented whenever I did my wrap-up of the Pittsburgh-Ottawa game that Fleury is peak as one of the best goaltenders in the league. And I'm not going to shy away from that statement. I mean, when Fleury's down, then the Penguins are a very, very beatable team. When Fleury plays moderate to very well, the Penguins are almost unbeatable. Because think about it. You've got an offense led by Sid, Gino, James Neal, and even guys like tonight, like the third and fourth line, like guys like Craig Adams and guys like Chris Letang. You got a team like that you have to stop. Oh, by the way, you got Fleury, who's a brick wall. I mean, that's a damn near impossible scenario for any team to beat Pittsburgh. What I've noticed out of the Pens this year, compared to what they were, doing the last few years, particularly last year, whenever they went to the playoffs and got blown out by the Flyers in 6 games, their defense is playing so much better. They're so compact. They really are. They're playing more of a tighter wound defense, and they're not leaving Fleury by himself, to defend shots. Like, teams aren't having a clear shot on Fleury anymore to try to score goals. It seems like there's always 2 or 3 guys in front of Fleury, and then it looks like there's anybody who's trying to score for Winnipeg. So pretty much they're just clogging the lanes and really, really making life difficult for anybody to score on the Penguins. They really are. Winnipeg was in control for most of the game. I mean, I know the first period shot total was very much in Pittsburgh's favor, 12-6. But from then on, in terms of shots, Winnipeg dominated, 20-16. And, you're going against a roster as loaded as Pittsburgh. Anytime you lead them in shots is, pretty impressive. But Winnipeg, with this loss, falls to 5-7-1, have 11 points, and they're currently out of the playoff. They're currently out of the current playoff picture. What I liked the most from Pittsburgh tonight was their defense. Really, it was. I mean, I know Fleury played spectacular. If he would have had a shutout, I'd have come on here and probably would have said that could have gone 8 or 9 periods. That wasn't changing. But when Fleury plays well after stopping that many shots, that like 4 or 5 in a row, then it's got to really build his confidence. It really does, because he's won a Stanley Cup. He's played in some incredible games. And these games every now and then where he has to step up when the Penguins offense isn't necessarily firing on all cylinders, that's a big confidence booster for him. I think that if he gets into the playoffs this year, I think he'll play much better than the last 2 years. I mean, you can't really put 2010 on Fleury. I mean, they beat the Senators and then they lost to the Canadiens. That was more or less on the fact that Crosby and Malkin really didn't score at all. Then you look at 2011 when they lost to Tampa Bay. He got lit up a few times. I know the one game he gave up 8. And then against Philly, I don't even want to go there because he just got destroyed in that series. I think his save percentage is below 80% for the series. But when he plays well, when Fleury plays moderate to well, the Penguins are going to beat just about anybody. Key statistics for this game. The Penguins did get out hit in that game by 10, 34-24. That's not a huge deal. I mean, look at the last game against Ottawa. They out hit the Senators by a big margin. They got out hit tonight by a big margin. You know, they came ready to play. Winnipeg's a physical team. They're going to hit you. It was a very physical game, and the Pens escaped with a victory. So, you know, you can't really be upset about being out hit. Of course, tonight, the much anticipated debut for the Penguins of winger Bo Bennett. He had a pretty good game, made a couple of nice nifty moves, a couple of hits, two block shots. I thought he played fairly well. I mean, definitely something to build on for his first NHL start. And I have to give him, you know, credit. You know, he's playing with some of the he's playing with probably the two best hockey players on the planet most of the game, Sid and Gino, and he played pretty damn well. I got to give him credit. But for the Penguins, you look at the way that they played this year. You look at, you know, the way they've been scoring. Crosby's getting assists like crazy. You have guys like Orpik and Neal who are scoring, Kunitz scoring. But where's Gino been? I mean, I know he had an assist in this game. I think it's like 9 of the last 10 games he's had an assist on a power play. But he hasn't been scoring too many goals. It seemed like he's taking a lot more shots from longer range this year. Like, he's not getting a chance to get in close. But then again, that's leaving the door wide open for other guys to score. And I honestly don't think he's going to complain too much about that. I think he cares more about winning than anything else. Crosby's having one of his better years, distributing the puck. Had an assist tonight. But of course, we got to give a lot of credit tonight to how the Pens won due to Marc-Andre Fleury. 25 of 26 shots were saved. What makes this performance so amazing is that, you know, like I said earlier, he was facing shots literally the whole game. The whole game, Winnipeg was right in front of him with the puck trying to score. And they only scored with a minute 35 remaining. It took like all but a minute and 35 for Winnipeg to get on the board. That just goes to show you how well the Pens defense has been playing this year. I mean, compared to last year, they weren't, you know, particularly good defense. I mean, they're 8th this year in goals against at 2.4 per game. And you look at their schedule, you look at the last few games where they didn't play the New Jersey Devils. The only team to put up 3 goals on them was Washington, and they blew them out 6-3. You look at some of the wins they've been having. They beat New Jersey 5-1. They beat the Islanders 4-2, the Caps 5-2. Caps again 6-3. And then Ottawa 4-2, and then tonight Winnipeg 3-1. They're winning games just about by every single way you can imagine. Whether it be low scoring until the end like this, or whether it be shootouts like against the Capitals a few times. These are the kind of wins that give you confidence as a team. A game where you feel that you might have been outplayed, but you still walked away with a victory. Anytime you win a game while you play your best, that's got to give you some confidence. But anytime you win and you didn't really play your best, that's really got to give you confidence. That even though, regardless of what the opponent does, I feel that I could still win, and that's got to be a big booster for the Pens going forward. Pens' next game after this will be Sunday at Buffalo playing the Sabres. Buffalo's been a big disappointment this year. 27th in goals for, 27 in goals against, 13 in goals a game, 6-8 with 13 points. When you look at standings, they're near the bottom of the East. They're in 11th spot in the Eastern Conference, tied with Philly and Tampa Bay. I mean, they've not really been a consistent team this year. They haven't. But for the Penguins in their situation, the Devils beat the Flyers tonight 5-3. So the Devils now have 2 more points, and they have a 1-point lead over Pittsburgh in the race for home ice throughout the playoffs. That was a really good game between New Jersey and Philly. They came back from down 3-1 and ended up winning that 5-3. Marty Brodeur again showing up and playing well. But the one stat in this game that really does jump out at me was how well the Penguins' power play did. I mean, Penguins had several the Jets, in my opinion, had several power plays. You know, one in the first, two in the second, a few in the third, and they just couldn't punch it in. The Penguins' penalty kill this year, has been unbelievable in the way they've been able to stop opposing teams from scoring. I mean, they have the mindset they're not going to be beating the power play, and you look at the way they've been playing throughout the season. You look at their penalty kill. Wait a second. Look at the way their penalty kills been playing this year. I mean, yeah, it says they ranked 14th in the league, but they've really been lights out when it comes to defending other teams' power plays. When they've been shorthanded, they've just been unbelievable in their ability to just close the door and just not allow you. I mean, you got to give credit to guys on the penalty kill for doing that, particularly Fleury and Vaucoon whenever he's played a goalie, because they've really been lights out. All right, next game is coming up at Buffalo on Sunday. Until then, see you guys later. I'll be back, of course, with another show tonight. I'll be updating you on what happened in the world of sports today. Real Steel Sports, James Krasnerick. Be back in a few.